What a fight. Amazing fight. Now, look, I felt before this fight, I felt that Pettis, I do believe that both these guys could win, obviously. But I had given a slight edge to Pettis. Excuse me, pardon me. I had given a slight edge to Pettis, and I'll tell you why. If you watch the first round, okay, the first round, Pettis looked like he was going to run away with it. He caught Diaz with a good right hand. Diaz didn't seem like he can breach the distance. Pettis at one point was kind of like doing a breakdancing move. Like his footwork was really on point. Everything was going okay until the first takedown. And I think we were all surprised when Diaz did a wrestling maneuver called running the pipe. He did a chest pressure. I think we were all surprised. Why? Well, if you see it, round one, Pettis was doing well. It was still even. I'm not saying he was winning, blowing out of the water, but that's what we expected. We expected it to be close, and Pettis kind of like setting up a head kick, setting up a low kick, setting up a body kick, and it was just a matter of time before he connects a nice shot. But he throws a right kick, right punch, and when he threw that right kick, Diaz grabbed onto the leg. Now, Diaz has never done this maneuver in his entire career. Diaz does have takedowns in the UFC. He does, but he's always upper body takedowns. Like he's done a foot sweep, he's done a uchimata in his career. He's done like a body lock, a kosotogaki kind of suplex. You know, like kind of body locking the guy and bringing him down. He's done these takedowns, but he's never shot the legs. He's never shot the legs successfully in his career. He grabs a hold of Pettis' legs, changes level, grabs a hold of his leg, rips it down, runs the pipe, cracks him down, brings him down to the mat, and secures the waist and gets on top of him. Amazing improvement by Nathan Diaz. I have to say, Nathan Diaz took 3 years off. He looks better than ever. He looks better than ever. He came to the fight with new tools. We always knew his ground game was really good. No doubt about it. However, I think we all learned something, at least I did. It's much better than Pettis's, by far. By far. That's where I felt he won the fight. He won the fight in round one when he broke Pettis down to the ground. He ran the pipe, and then Pettis went for that guillotine. He got out. Diaz escaped the guillotines, passed his guard, rolled him over from guard. So Pettis was had his hips up in the air. Diaz bumped him, rolled him to guard, took his back, and I felt that Diaz was working on cruise control. You know, he's so slick on the ground, and Pettis was working hard. And I felt like Pettis got himself tired. Because when your skills are a little bit less than the guy you're fighting, you have to work harder. You have to spend more energy not to fall behind. Whereas Diaz was making all the right adjustments, and Pettis was muscling his way into the grappling. He had to muscle his way because he couldn't keep up with the Diaz adjustments. And I felt that that's where his reserves dipped. Like you saw in round two, they got back to their feet. Okay, he survived the bell. Clear win for Diaz. Clear win. I don't think anybody's debating this. Clear win for Diaz round one. However, if you watch just the first 3 minutes, Pettis is looking good. It looks, it's pretty even, but we know like Pettis is going to land that big strike. We know that Diaz needs volume. So if it's pretty even, we know it's a matter of time. We know that before Pettis sneaks in that shot that steals the round. Okay? He gets taken down, and the ground game was just too much for him. And then in round two, Pettis comes out, throws a kick, and hurts his leg really badly. He throws a kick and falls to the ground. He kind of like sits, he kind of sat down. Why did he sit down? Because he couldn't put weight on that leg. That tells you that leg is really badly injured. From what I heard he broke his foot. I don't have a confirmation on that. But somebody in the gym yesterday was telling me, oh yeah, I heard he broke his foot. They read that he broke his foot. And I was like, it doesn't surprise me. It happens sometimes when you kick. When you kick, you could break your own foot. The kicker can break his own foot. When you want to put your foot back down on the mat, but you can't because you're in too much pain and you're forced to sit down on your butt, that's bad news for a kicker. And then Diaz pounced on him, got him up against the fence, and then there was that Kimura sequence where Pettis later, he grabbed the Kimura and kind of sat down with the Kimura. In my opinion, a major mistake. A major, major mistake. He should have stayed standing. I don't personally think he would get taken down with an upper body takedown. It would be hard to take Pettis down with upper body takedown. And Pettis kind of took himself down with that Kimura attempt. That Kimura attempt, look, when I grab a Kimura and I sit like that, my jiu-jitsu better be way better than yours because the counters to the Kimura are just as strong as the attacks of the Kimura. It comes down to who has the better jiu-jitsu. People tell me, hey, should I grab the Kimura and sit? Dude, is your jiu-jitsu better than the guy you're fighting? Like if you're fighting a striker and you have a kimura on him, let's say if so happens you're body locking with a striker and you grab a kimura on him. Sit, sure, sit, because your jiu-jitsu is better than his. Let's see if he knows the counters. He won't know them as well as we know our attacks, right? If you're the better grappler. However, if the guy you're holding the kimura on is a better grappler than you and you sit, you're going to get shut down, dude. Because it's an even position. The kimura, the guy holding the kimura and the guy defending the kimura both have attacks. So the guy being kimura has great back attacks, and the guy kimuraing obviously has great kimura attacks and follow-ups, okay? So the grip is almost incidental. It doesn't matter who has the grip. It's whose jiu-jitsu is better. So I felt like Pettis initiated a grappling war where he shouldn't have, because we learned in round one that Diaz jiu-jitsu is more experienced, more I would say more advanced, more developed. And I think that was a crucial mistake in round two, and he lost round two, of course. Now, maybe he did it because his foot was so bad. I don't know, and I don't want to talk for the guy. But I do feel that Pettis could have done a lot better. Like, we've seen Pettis perform, and we've seen him shine. He's had some incredible performances in that octagon. He's, won the title in WEC. He's won the title in UFC. I feel like that wasn't Pettis' best performance. If Pettis was having, one of his top performances, it would have been a big win for him. I also really feel that Diaz improved a lot in those 3 years. And that's something nobody can equate for. But he has improved a lot. I felt his striking was better, specifically his head movement. You saw him slip a lot more punches than he has in the past. Watch that fight again. Pettis threw some serious heaters at Diaz, and Diaz slipped him beautifully, better than he has in the past. I felt that his defensive head movement was better than he has in the past. He's developed his footwork. His head movement has gotten better. And in the last 2 years, he must have been putting in a lot of work because he's shown a lot of improvement. Striking, wrestling, and his jiu-jitsu look better than ever as well. His jiu-jitsu look better than before. So kudos to Nick. I really look forward to see how he's going to do in the welterweight division. Absolutely brilliant performance. Loved it. With that said, guys, let's hear what you guys have to say about that fight. Alan Wolf asks, does Pettis break under pressure? I wouldn't say that. Look, he's been in mega fights, man. He's been in mega fights. He fought Max Holloway for a world title fight not long ago. I mean, and he did at 145. That's pressure, man. That's high pressure fights. Okay, so I don't think he breaks under the pressure. I think, look, strategically he made mistakes in the fight. And he shouldn't have basically he should have avoided the ground game at all costs. When he got taken down, he should have tried to get up. Instead, he tried to play guard. He got his back taken. I felt like he should have forced the fight standing up, whereas he was happy to go to the ground with Diaz, it seemed. I think if he had to do it again, keep the fight standing at all costs, and I think it could play out differently. Alan 20019 says, Diaz broke the distance. I agree, he did break the distance. But how did he break the distance? He broke the distance at the end of round one by catching a kick and shooting the legs, which is something we haven't seen Diaz do before. Because in the first part of the fight, we saw what Diaz always does. He tries to creep up on you with his boxing, and Pettis was doing fine. And then he tried his upper body takedowns on Pettis. Pettis brushed him off. That was what Diaz always does. When he shot the leg, that was something new, and he did it beautifully, and he did it well, and congratulations to him. He added a new wrinkle to his game, and that new wrinkle paid off big time. Because the later part of round one was a complete Diaz round. That portion belongs to Diaz, and it was so dominant. There's no question that round is his. There's no question. How big of a factor was the broken foot? That's from Anand Zala. I think it was a big factor. When you break your foot, it's hard to kick. It's hard to, he's a kicker. Pettis is a great kicker. So, it's a major factor. However, that's part of the game. That's one of the drawbacks of being a kicker. You could hurt your foot. That's just part of the game.